Hello guys, welcome back to a brand new video. Welcome back to FPL Mike channel, and this is the channel where we talk about all things FPL. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about Aston Villa and who's the player to look out for in this Villa team, and who you some potentially go for to add player in your team from that Aston Villa side. And let's get straight into it. So we start off with the goalkeeper position. We all know Aston Villa's starting goalkeeper is Emi Martinez. At 5 million, I think he's a really good price. I think at this price, there isn't much of a better keeper to go for, despite Jordan Pickford or Andre Onana. I can see last few seasons, right? He's got 15, 11, 11, and 8 clean sheets. Especially in this season, he's got a phenomenal seasons. 15 clean sheets, 142 saves, which I believe he sets the record for most saves in a single season, and he's got 186 points. We all know he regularly starts. He's regularly starting for Aston Villa. He's getting 35 plus games every single season, so his minutes is guaranteed. And Villa's defense is not as ideal as it before. It's probably because of how the Unai Emery coaching system works. He loves to play. Sometimes you play a 4-2-3-1. Sometimes you play a 4-3-3, and his entire system is more attacking wise. We can see that both wing back from last season are pretty attacking. Matty Cash, or even Luka Dean, or even Ezri Konsa in the late season. And now with Im Matson adding into the team, I think Villa is going to keep that offensive, that kind of offensive aggression, but also do have the. I do willing to believe that Villa defense is going to improve, because the adding of Im Matson allows Ezri Konsa to move back into that centre back position, and you got Pau Torres becoming more mature and more adapted to the Premier League, and Diego Carlos slowly coming out from that injury prone. So I think overall next season it could be a defensively upgrade for Villa next season, which this season. But at the same time, they got Champions League football, so I'm pretty sure that would affect them quite a bit. But if you look at Villa's defenders, right, they got 1, 2, 3: Konza, Pau Torres, and Diego Carlos. You got 3 centre backs, and you probably got Tyrone Mings back. That's 4 centre backs in it. That's 4 centre backs, which is a pretty solid rotation. Could form up there. And you got Im Masson, definite start in the left back position. He's going to overtake Luka Dean and Alex Moreno. And you're going to have Matty Cash on the right, which they do have quite enough players to play on both wing backs positions. So I think overall Villa defense is very solid. I think if you want a 5 million goalkeeper, it could be Emiliano Martinez, but I'm not sure you want to waste a Villa player on Emi Martinez, because you can have Watkins, you can have Morgan Rogers in midfield, you can have Leon Bailey in midfield, and you can have a defender. So I'm not sure if you're willing to waste a slot of Villa player in Emi Martinez. Of course, you can go for, I think, because Martinez is good at saving penalties, right? Although that category, like in bonus points, isn't decreases this season, but I still think he could get 1 or 2 penalties saved. I just think overall he is a great option, but I think at 5 million price tag, there's better option than him, like Jordan Pickford, like Onana. I think they're a better option than him. I mean, Villa do have great opening fixtures despite Arsenal at home, so you could worth a try for Emi Martinez. At 5 million, I'm just not sure whether the value can match the price, unless he goes up to this season, 22-23, or even his best season perform, 2021. Because hence, otherwise, I'm probably not going to go for him. But the fixture could be an element that defines your decision. So he could worth a try among a lot of the keepers, especially you want to put some weight on you want to put some money in your goalkeeper position. Martinez is the one to go for. As for the backup keeper, Robin Olsen, I think at 4.5 million, it just totally not deserved. If it's a 4 million, I'd probably considering him, but 4.5 million, he doesn't get regular minutes. He's not going to start. He's probably going to start 1 or 2 games at 4.5 million. I don't see why people are going for him, so he's a no for me. Not I don't. He's not in. He's not on the radar, just completely. And then the last 4 million goalkeeper, who's probably not even going to play, unless you need a 4 million keeper in your bench. Otherwise, yeah, just ignore him. And then moving on to defense, the most popular one is Ezri Konsa, and I kind of agree with it because he's going to be a nailed-on starter. He got 35 and 37 start in the last 2 seasons. He's sometimes played the right back at the end of last season because Matty Cash performance isn't ideal, but more likely he's going to moving back into that centre-back position this season, since they have Matson on the left and Matty Cash on the right, and I believe Alex Moreno can play on the right as well. So I think Konza at the start of the season could be a great option because Villa do have quite enough centre-backs, right? They got Pau Torres, who's going to be a nailed-on starter, and they've got Ezri Konsa, Diego Carlos, and Tyrone Mings. So how he lines up those three midfielders, those three centre-backs, is going to be a problem for Emery. He might change back to the 3-4-2-1 formation. He might play 3 at the back. So I think the only safe option here in the centre-back position is going to be Pau Torres. As for Konza, I think he's like 70%, 80% sure. I'm sure he's going to start in the first game of the season. And when Tyrone Mings back, a lot of things could change because it will then all depend on the performance. But overall, Ezri Konsa do have quite a big chunk of attacking threat. He can provide you goals. He gave you assists. And Villa defense, like I just said, is gonna overall is gonna improve this season. So I think at 4.5, he's worth a try. He's worth a go for me. I think that states the same case for Pau Torres. He's attacking as well. He's gonna start because that's what they bought him from Villarreal for. He's gonna be that left centre back position. I think Konza most likely going to play the right centre back, which I think Tyrone Mings and Diego Carlos won't get that many minutes, but there could be some rotations there. So it puts minutes of Konza and Pau Torres at risk later this season, because I think start of the season these two are the centre back pairings Unai Emery is going to go for. So I think first few game weeks they're pretty much nailed on. I think they're a go for me. And as for Luke Dean, I think this season he's an avoid for me simply because they brought in Ian Matson, because Matson is going to start in left back. They brought him in for 40 plus million. I know Luke Dean got really, really good underlying numbers. He's like a traditional left back that's going do the overlap down to the bottom line and then put a cross in and get the assist. We saw here what he did in Everton as well, but I just don't think he's gonna get enough minutes this season. I think the left back position belongs to Im Matson. I don't think Luke Dean can play right back, so I think his minutes is a risk. His minutes is at risk, so I don't think. I'm not sure to go for him. I wouldn't go for him because it's just too uncertain. Because even in last season, he only started 27 games, which is not very ideal for a player to be in your team. I think if you want to go for a wing back, it's going to be in Matson. At 5 million, he's playing left back as well. But which again, Villa got too many left backs, so they can play quite a big of a rotation. Luka Dean can play there. Alex Moreno can play there. Matson can play there. Moreno can play right back, I believe. But overall, I think, again, the minutes is not guaranteed, right? So I think if you want to go for a wing back, it's going to be Matson. Matty Cash, a right back, could go for. But I think the problem, again, is the minutes risk. He only got 23 starts because after that 17 points hauler, I believe loads of people remember that 2-goal, 1 assist for Matty Cash. Suddenly he fell off. He didn't get any returns beside an assist. He do got a higher XG, which he didn't convert. I think that's what caused him to lose his position at right back to Konza last season. But I think a 4.5 million price as the only right back they've got in the team, like only true right back they've got in the team, I think he could deserve a try. But there is a possibility where Emery can play Konza at right back again, and then he put Carlos and Pau Torres in the centre back pairing, and then put Masson on off the left. So I think overall, right, in Villa's defense, the only guaranteed minutes is Pau Torres, and the second option is Ezri Konsa, and people chose him just simply because he's probably got more attacking threats, attacking returns possibilities to go for. As for the wing backs, I'm completely not sure about, because from all the previous warm-up game Aston Villa's got, right, they've rotate half court. Emery played a full 22 men. Because we can see last game against Club America, the starter is Matakash, Bolgrad, Torres, and Matson, right? And then he put Luka Dean on the left centre back position, and then Donker in the centre back position, and Moreno in the left back. So a lot could change. But I think it's mostly depends on the last two friendly games, because I think that's when Ollie Watkins and all other players from the Euros and the Copa America come back. We're going to see a more complete starting 11 back then. So we probably see in those two games what the back four or back three looks like under Emery and Aston Villa. And then we can decide that which player to go for in that Villa team. But so far, if you're going to choose one in Villa's defense, it's going to be Pau Torres. I think he's the most nailed-on starter for me. And yeah, and then moving on to midfield. So they have got quite a lot of options in their midfield. So we're cutting from down. Bundia didn't play at all last season. He's a no for me. I think he's fallen off from the rotation completely after Steven Gerrard under Emery. So he's gone. And then this guy, unfortunately, I don't know who he is. Barentia. I believe he's going to be a new signings. And in fact, let me check that out. Transfer market. I think he's most likely a new signing. I believe he played. Yes, he played in the second half against Club America. And looks like he's in that number 6 position. So which in this case, he's not going to get much point. So he's probably not under the radar as well. Dobbin, again, a rotational player. Not enough minutes for me. Out of the target. Out of the radar. Leonard Dundonker, who is a phenomenal player at Wolves. After came to Villa, didn't play much or didn't play at all, most likely. He's not going to get more minutes than last season, I believe, because of the bringing of Anana, etc. So he's off the radar as well, because just minutes is close to 0. And then Jacob Ramsey, again, he's a very interesting option for me. Because in the season before, he's done really good job. He's got 31 starts, 6 goals, 8 assists. And last season only played 8 games. I believe it's due to injury. But it seems like he doesn't earn that many play minutes under Emery this season. So at 5.5, I believe there's better option than Jacob Ramsey. So I think, again, he's an avoid for me. Unless we see few consecutive starts at the start of season and consecutive starts in the last 2 preseason games against Atletico Bilbao and Borussia Dortmund. Because otherwise, I'm probably not going to go for him at all. I think Morgan Rogers is very interesting. Because at 5 million, he seems to start in most of the games for Aston Villa in the preseason games. And he's got quite a few goals and assists. He seems like to stepping up into the midfield more than often. He's getting rotational minutes. So if you need a cheap midfielder, Morgan Rogers is definitely worth a consideration. He played quite a lot of games in the few preseason games. We've got to wait and see the last 2 games whether or not he still got those many minutes. Because if he got those minutes, he can start 60, 70 minutes every single game. At this price tag, I think if you need a 5 million midfielder, he's a go for me. He's probably even a must if you need a 5 million midfielder, and he gives you enough attacking threats at this price tag, which is pretty efficient, I would say. So Morgan Rogers is it's an interesting one. It's probably a go for quite a few of people. If you need a cheap midfielder, cheap enabler in your midfield, Morgan Rogers is definitely the one to consider. And then you got Bobdo Kamara, who's not going to come back until September the 14th, which is the first international break. So we'll skip past through him for now because there's not enough information at all. And then Amadou Onana signing from Everton. Not recommended because he playing the number 6. He's very, very traditional. The only thing he does is defensive work, and he's not going to give you attacking returns whatsoever. So now a 5 million price tag, I suggest you just go for Morgan Rogers instead of Onana, because he's just so defensive, and he's not going to get you any attacking returns. And then Youri Tielemans at 5.5 mil. I think he could be worth looking at, because I think in quite a few preseason games he played pretty well. He gets some assists and goals and gets enough minutes. We're gonna wait and see how things lines up, because Douglas Luiz left Aston Villa, right? And the man to step into the team is Amadou Onana. And I think Tielemans is quite a perfect number 8 role in their Villa team, because I think for some reason he didn't like noticed by Emery that well last season, or just because his poor performance. In fact, he got 17 starts, which is not bad at all. And I think this season that numbers could definitely go up and increase. And we've seen what he does in Leicester, right? He's getting goals and assists. And I think at 5.5, he could worth a look at, could worth a consideration. I also believe there's other good 5.5 million midfielders that are better than him, because his role in number 8 is guaranteed that he's not going to be so attacking, but he's going to give you some attacking threats at the same time. But plus, considering the fact that he's probably not going to get enough minutes, so I think we'll just put him off to the side first and wait until the last few preseason games and how first 1 or 2 games plays out for him. Whether he starts, whether he gets enough minutes, whatsoever, how he performs. And then we can add him, if he performs good, we can add him back to the watch list again. But for now, he's a no for me. Ross Barkley, similar to Youri Tielemans, I think he could play that number 8 role as well. And he's a really, really solid player. Last season with Luton, he seems to back to what his prime was, 5 goals, 5 assists. But I think him and Tielemans is going to be fighting for that number 8 role, or even the number 10 role. So I think minutes is again a risk. And at 5.5, I think there's better option than Ross Barkley and Tielemans. So I don't think they deserve a go from me. And then next player is John McGinn. He's very interesting. I think what the midfield will look like for the Villa is going to be Onana, John McGinn, and one of Youri Tielemans, or Ross Barkley. And I think if I have to pick a number 10, it's going to be Tielemans. And I think John McGinn in the number 8 role is not going to give you much of an attacking returns that you need. And of course, when Jacob Ramsey can play that number 10 as well. So Villa just got too many midfielders to look at, to be honest. But I think John McGinn is a definite start for me. 35 starts last season. Pretty solid, I would say 120 points. But again, at this price tag, I just think there are other options that gives you more attacking returns and more goals and assists than John McGinn. But if you need a nailed-on starter in the midfield, I think he's going to be the one. he's probably going to be the one. And I think keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on him because we know what he can perform, how he performed looks like. He's not going to improve on that. He's probably not going to underperform as well. So yeah, but overall, I think the price and the points he got is not that ideal. So I'm probably not going to go for him. And the last midfielder is Leon Bailey, which is very, very interesting for me as well. Because I think without Diaby, him in that right wing position is gonna be flying high. And at 6.5, I think he's underpriced. I think he's underpriced. Because I do seen a lot of people's worry about Leon Bailey, whether he got injured, because Villa got they got Champions League football. So you're not sure whether they're gonna buy another right winger or no. But I think at the start of the season, Leon Bailey is gonna be the nailed on starter, and he's gonna play most of the game, and he's probably the second most attacking threat in that Villa team, only behind Ollie Watkins. So I think Leon Bailey at 6.5 is definitely deserves a try. I think he's probably gonna be in my game week 1 team because they do have a really, really tasteful opening fixture, handy opening fixtures. They get 2 newly promoted teams in the first 6 game week, and they got 2 home games against Everton and Wolves. So there's no reason not to go for a Villa player. I think if you don't go for Ollie Watkins, you want a cheap midfielder, and you want some goals threat. I think other than Ollie Watkins is going to be Leon Bailey, and I pretty much recommend him to I recommend him to quite a lot of you, because I think at least for now he's nailed down start for me, like in my opinion, in the Villa side. And yeah, there's no reason. I think there's the only reason you can go not to go for him is you want to go for Nkunku at 6.5 or other like Morgan Gibbs White. But I think Leon Bailey is overall more attacking threat and more Premier League proven, I would say, than the other two. Than Nkunku, not than Morgan Gibbs White, but he's more attacking threat than Morgan Gibbs White. So I think Leon Bailey could definitely worth a try. And then lastly, we're moving on to the forward, which I believe they have got. I mean, Ollie Watkins, do I even need to talk about him? Nailed on starter. If you want a Villa player, it's going to be him. The only concern is whether that 18 assists can replicate this season. I'm pretty sure it won't, but the goals are there. The goals are consistent. And a 9.9 million, I think he's a little bit overpriced, but if you want to go for him, go for him. Like, it's not a problem. We know how good he is, or we know what he can do. And yeah, Ollie Watkins is overall solid. Cameron Archer could play some minutes. I think Duran will play more minutes than Cameron Archer because Duran played quite a lot in the last few games of last season, and he's got phenomenal stats. He got 5 goals. He got 5 goals, 1 assist in 3 starts, which is phenomenal. I think he'll get some minutes. He could play the left wing as well, I believe. He's not a traditional number 9. He could play number 9. He could play more on the wing as well. He's kind of like Darwin Núñez. I think Duran, but 6 million is just too high. He's just too high, his price tag. And I'm not going to go for him. 6 mil for a backup striker, I don't think I'll go for him. 6 mil, I'm going to go for Muniz from Fulham. So, no, Duran is no. And for the last 2 midfielders, Jadon Philoggion and Samuel Elion Jr. I think they both played. I can see Philoggion played, and I'm not sure whether Elion Jr. played, but we're gonna wait and see more from them after Ollie Watkins and other players come back. We'll see the last 2 games between Bilbao and Borussia Dortmund, how those 2 games played off, and we gotta see more from that Villa team, especially in the midfield and the back line. We're got a more clear idea of who's going to start. And that concludes today's video. I hope you guys enjoy it. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. We're trying to hit the first 100 subscribers. Don't forget to click that bell icon, and we're going to update more information soon. The next club will be Arsenal. We're going to do in the alphabetical order. We're going to do Arsenal next, and it's most likely to be tomorrow. And see you guys soon. Peace.